Welcome to our explainer. Today we're diving deep into Module 4, which is all about the absolute bedrock of your work as a family dispute resolution practitioner. We're going to focus on three things that are just non-negotiable: safety, documentation, and your ethical practice. Let's get right into it.
So let's start with the big one. This is the question, isn't it? In the middle of a really high conflict case, when everything's swirling around you, how do you make that call? How do you make a decision that you know is safe, that you know is ethical, and really importantly, that you could defend in court if you had to? Well, that's exactly what we're here to figure out.
First up, let's talk about why this is so critical. We really need to set the stage and understand the environment we're operating in, because in the world of domestic and family violence-informed practice, having a solid framework isn't just a nice-to-have, it's everything. I mean, just look at this list. This is the reality of your day-to-day. You're working with bits and pieces of information, you're hearing stories that totally contradict each other, and you're always managing the risk of things getting worse. On top of that, you've got people trying to game the system, and at the absolute center of it all are the safety concerns for children. It's a total pressure cooker. So, faced with all that chaos, how do you find your footing? The answer is actually a really powerful shift in how you think. We have to stop treating safety like it's just one item on a checklist. Instead, we need to see it as the central organizing principle for everything we do. Just let that sink in for a second. Safety isn't just part of the process, it is the process. It's the sun that everything else revolves around. Every single decision, from how you set up the room to what you write in your notes, has to be built on this foundation of safety. It's the lens for everything. Okay, so what does safety actually look like in practice? Well, it breaks down into these three key areas. You've got physical safety, which is the obvious one, keeping people from getting hurt. But then there's psychological safety, which is just as vital. Can someone actually speak their mind without being terrified? And finally, procedural safety. This is where you come in. This is the structure, the screening, the note-taking. It's the professional container you build to make the whole thing safe. And this brings us to a really, really important point. Do not mix up safety with comfort. They are not the same thing. Your client is probably going to be incredibly uncomfortable, and that's okay. They can be uncomfortable and still be safe. And that last point there, it's gold. Just because someone seems calm on the outside does not mean they have the capacity to engage safely. Calm does not equal capacity. All right, so to create that procedural safety we were just talking about, you've got two main tools in your toolkit. The first is your professional authority, and the second is your ethical framework. Let's look at how to use them right. Let's be really clear about what we mean by authority. This isn't about being a boss or being authoritarian. Think of yourself as the guardrails on a dangerous road. Your authority is calm, it's predictable, it's firm, it's what keeps the process on track. It's not about punishing or shaming anyone. It's about creating a structured, safe space for a very difficult conversation. Now this is one of the biggest ethical tightropes you have to walk. Your job is to be impartial, which means you're fair to everyone. It is not your job to be neutral. See, neutrality can be dangerous. Being neutral can mean you're silent when you see harmful behavior, and that silence actually allows it to continue. You can be fair and objective while still calling out behavior that is not okay. Okay, let's switch gears and talk about something that I know can feel like a chore: paperwork. But I want you to start thinking about your documentation differently. It's not just a task, it is your professional and legal shield. Seriously, your notes are doing so much heavy lifting. They're a legal record, they're a safety plan, they hold people accountable, they're there to protect children and vulnerable adults, and, just as importantly, they're there to protect you. When things go sideways and your decisions get questioned, your notes are the proof that you acted safely, ethically, and lawfully. We've all seen a note like this. Maybe we've even written one. But think about it. What does aggressive actually mean? It's a subjective opinion. It's an interpretation. And in a legal setting, it's basically useless. So what should we do instead? This is a defensible note. See the difference? It doesn't interpret, it describes. It describes observable behaviors. Raised his voice, leaned forward, interrupted 3 times. Now anyone, your supervisor, a lawyer, even a judge, can read that and make their own assessment based on facts, not your opinion. That's powerful. So if you're going to remember one thing about documentation from today, make it this. This is the golden rule. Write every single note as if it's going to be read out loud in a courtroom. That one simple idea will keep you objective, factual, and professional every single time. Okay, so we've got safety as our guiding star, we understand how to use our authority and our ethics, and we know how to write notes that will protect us. Now, let's put it all together and see how this helps you make those tough calls with confidence. At the very heart of your power to make these decisions is Regulation 25. You need to know this inside and out. It's pretty much the most important piece of legislation for your work in this area because it's what gives you the legal mandate to put safety first above everything else. And here's what Regulation 25 requires of you. You must screen for DFE. You must identify risks. You have to decide if a case is even appropriate for mediation. And here's the kicker. You have the power and the duty to say no or to stop the process entirely if you believe safety can't be managed. And your final duty? To document exactly why you made that call. At the end of the day, it all comes back to these 3 words. This is the goal. When safety is your organizing principle, your ethics are rock solid, and your documentation is based on behavior, your practice becomes unshakable. It's safe, it's ethical, and it is absolutely defensible. So, I'm going to leave you with one final thought to take away. Knowing all this is great, but putting it into practice is what counts. So, I want you to ask yourself, based on everything we just covered, what is the one small, concrete change you are going to make to your notes tomorrow to make your practice that much safer and more defensible?